He's a nigga.
I'm a nigga.
We're back. No, I'm just kidding. This is our first time.
Of checking in or whatever title this would be called. I'll just dub it over right there if that's not it.
We end up with something else. Tight. I'm excited.
Yeah. I there's no subject to this, but right before this, we started recording this, while we were setting this up, I was asking Tieta and I was like, do you believe in God? And then it was about to get real deep and I was like, we should probably save it for this.
Bro, you know, I actually recently went on Ariel's podcast. She's not dropping it till June, right? She's not dropping it till June. But
spoilers.
The title of her podcast is This Might Get Deep. And I was like,
I like that.
It's a little freaky, but it's also,
all right.
I thought that's why you were smiling. Because as soon as you said it, I was like, ah. But then I realized.
I thought that was cool.
It was. I'm like, bro, that's and it's like, yeah, because usually like that's the goal on a conversation is to like have it go beyond the surface level.
I like this might get deep too, though. It's like, it might not.
It might not. It might just be casual.
Oh, gosh.
I do believe in God. I feel like more recently, it seems like the people closest to me have been like finding God, which is so.
That was about to be my segue, but yeah.
You was gonna say that?
I was gonna say that.
Which is so like, I feel like you can't really find God. It's like he's always there, right? Or it, them, they, whatever.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I feel like everybody around me has been more in a space of like embracing God, whatever that may be.
Can you give me an example without exposing niggas?
Well, I mean, Ariel's a really great example. Like, she started a whole Bible study.
Yeah.
Like,
but go ahead.
Got on it. Which is crazy because you saved a spider's life earlier.
Yeah, right. No. Randomly enough, spiders are the only like bugs that I actually fuck with. Yeah, I think because of Spider-Man.
Okay, I feel that. They're the one, but well.
Most people do spiders.
Yeah,
like,
I let them live in my house unless they're on the ground. But when they be like up in the ceiling, I'm like, all right, because they be catching bugs.
Oh.
But when they're on the ground, now you're a threat.
It's like, nigga, you get a job.
Bruh.
You ain't even got no web.
But there's a daddy long leg that's been in my house for years. Just
all daddy long legs
bugs.
are chill niggas. They don't bite or nothing.
And they be chilling. So I just be, Anyway, yeah, I do believe in God. My sister, like, super heavily lately has been like, she's been back in church and the whole nine. I think she said she wants to get baptized. And then like my closest friends, like one of my good friends, Gabby, also Taylor, they've always been like super religious. Like, oh, wow. Taylor, when I stayed the night at her house, like she has the kind of mom that wakes up to like praise on the TV. Wow. You know how they be playing like Jesus Christ praise sessions and whatnot. So yeah. Yeah, I rock with God. I'm not like
big homie.
I'm not like big in church or nothing, but
do you pray?
I feel like I do. I don't really like pray. Like I don't like put my hands together and get on my knees and whatnot, but I do like speak out loud to, you know, the higher power that is.
That's and that was kind of the segue. Like when I think of like finding God or finding your God, like I think of the term God, and I think it could be a multitude of different things. I just think of it as like in like what, like high school when we took like it was like it was like sex ed or some shit like that, but they told us about all the different types of health. And there was like spiritual health, mental health.
Oh, yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And stuff like that. And then I just realized, I was like, they put spiritual health as a whole pillar. There was 6 pillars of health. Spiritual health was a pillar. And that was just included religion or whatever, like belief systems and stuff like that. So I believe anything that falls under like that pillar, I can call God. You know what I mean?
Agree.
Like if your system is karma, I still call that God. You know what I mean? I think everybody, whatever different form, you know what I mean? It's all the same thing to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's all the same like concept. It's like not like rules, but you know what I mean? It's like a system of being, and it makes you feel good.
Yeah. And it makes you want to be good, which is like, I feel like the most important thing. Yeah.
You ever seen a show called My Name is Earl? Oh, okay. So basically, I watched this shit in like middle or high school, but this nigga, he's like a scumbag. He be robbing niggas. He be like, he be robbing these niggas.
I be robbing these.
You know what I mean? He just like, and he's like kind of like this white trash dude. Him and his brother just running around doing like shit. But one day, he he plays the lottery, and then he looks at the TV, and he realizes he's like, they read the numbers, and he was like, oh shit, that's my number. And he takes his ticket, and he's like, I won. He runs out in the street, and he get hit by a car.
No.
And it flies away.
The lotto ticket?
The lotto ticket flies away. And he ends up in the hospital, and while he's in the hospital, and he's like, he's debilitated. He can't move. Yeah. And he's watching this shit. It's like a nigga talking about karma on the TV, and he's watching. He's like, huh. And so then he starts writing down a list of all the bad shit he ever did. You know what I mean? And I think one thing happens that allows him to cross one thing off. Or like, I don't know, maybe mean to his brother or some shit like that. And he crossed it off. And then the lotto ticket flies back into his fucking, through his window. And then he gets the shit back. And he's like, wow. And he realizes he felt good about it. So the whole show is about him like going back and just kind of rectifying. He goes down this list and crosses shit off. And as he does, he's using that money to do that shit. Like he's not even being like selfish about it.
Wow.
And, you know what I mean? And that shit really like hit a chord with me like when I was a kid. So then it was kind of funny, but I even did like the same shit, and I started doing that. And it's, like,
all the bad things you ever did.
I was like, punch my brother, take Legos. Nah, but for real, and it like really like when I realized how it made me feel. Like I started to really believe in like spiritual health in a different form. And I feel like I do it kind of indiscriminately. Like when my dad was in the hospital and he was about to pass, like I realized like I like Christian, like I prayed because I grew up like Catholic Christian, like, you know what I mean? I prayed for him, but it's like, you know, and then after he passed, my family's like on my Asian side, they're like Buddhist. So like I would go to the Buddhist temple and we would do all that stuff. And yeah. So yeah.
Did they feel similar, like in spirit?
Yeah. I feel all those things are similar to me. I think once I figured out that was like, it was all called spiritual health, all of it became the same thing.
Yeah, it's all like one.
But I've only like pretty recently, like defined that as like your God or as God.
Yeah. Like I've always talked about it as like the universe because it's so like
same.
Yeah, it holds so much less weight. I was listening to Sadhguru talk today while I was getting my nails done, and he was saying like the sun rose this morning, like it's a good day, and he was like, if the sun didn't rise within 18 hours, everything on this earth would be dead. So the sun rose today; it's a good day. But we don't celebrate it. He's like, no other planets crashed into ours. Today's a good day. Because if a planet crashed into ours, we would all be dead within milliseconds. Today's a good day. And he just started listing off all these things. And he said, but then one small thing happens in your life and it's automatically a bad day. Right. And I was just like,
wow.
The level of like spirituality that you hold within you, like the belief that you have in like a higher power, it really allows you to maneuver like the small discrepancies with like so much ease because you are always aware of this higher power that is like, it makes you feel very minute in a great way. It makes like all your issues be like, oh, it's not that terrible. It's like if the sun didn't rise today, that'd be
pretty bad,
you know?
For all of us.
And I think that's why like religion and the universe or whatever you believe in is so powerful because it's like it allows you to maintain constant perspective of how like minute your life is. Because when you become too engulfed in your like psychological world and you believe that you're this big giant thing and your world is like this huge thing, you become like delusional. And now you're walking around like angry or upset. And it's like, bro, your life is so minuscule. Like in the timeline of the existence of the world, you are but a blink.
Right.
And you have the audacity to be upset during any of it.
Like, man, I'm broke today.
Right.
Like,
but the sun rose.
Breathing.
Right.
Oh my God. I remember I was driving and I was like, I was having car issues and my pockets was low too. And I was like, damn, bro. I was just like thinking about all this shit like that.
You was driving angry?
I was driving. And then I was driving and I looked and there was a nigga crossing the street and this nigga was walking, holding a bike tire. And I was like, damn.
Right.
Maybe I should shut the fuck up.
The universe will really put it right in your face.
Nigga.
Bro, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if if you lack perspective, you would have missed it.
Right.
But because you have like a level of perspective to where you can see that and be like, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. I'm tripping.
You know, but like some people when they're so, me and Mally were talking today and he was like,
at least that nigga don't gotta get gas.
It's like he on his feet.
Come on, bro.
At least he can get exercise. It's like, bro, you could have walked.
What did you say? You
Me and Mally were talking today and he was like, I feel really bad when I don't like have the desire or like the urge or the capability of getting something done in a day. Like I feel really terrible, like I'm wasting your guys' time. And I was telling him like, regardless of how you feel, if you work through it, you're still getting something done. Yeah. Even if you don't get like a lot done or nothing got completed, but you work towards it, it's better to do that than to allow your feelings to take over and you do nothing. And he's like, because you're digging yourself in a hole. And I was like, exactly. Like let's say you feel terrible for a week. So you do nothing for a week. Every day, that hole gets a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. But eventually you have to come out of that hole. Mm-hmm. But for that whole week, even though you felt like crap, you still got a little bit done. Mm-hmm. You never ended up in the hole. Right. So when you get ready to move forward, you don't have to then climb out of a hole and now progress. You're able to just be on level ground and be like, okay, I'm ready to sprint now. Wow. But if you're in that hole, it's like, imagine how deep that hole can get and you ain't got a ladder, a rope, nothing. Wow. It can get rough.
I'm so like, when I look at Mally, like, I be excited for that nigga. Like I be sometimes sad because I feel like he beats himself up a lot.
Yeah,
but it's like he has so many good sources of people like pouring into him. Mm-hmm. I'm like, nigga, you're 18. Is he 18, 19?
Mm-hmm. 18.
18. I was like, when he's 21, he's gonna be so powerful. You know what I mean?
Right. He said that today too. He's like, I always feel like I'm so behind, and then I remember I'm only 18. I'm like, bro, right? Like. A lot of people didn't even touch their first M's until they were 30 or whatever. And it's like, yeah, we see childhood millionaires now as well. But it's like, man, every day, the same like little tune rings in my head. That's like, comparison is the thief of joy. Hell yeah. And as soon as I get to comparing anything, I'm like, I'm not going to allow myself to take my joy. And I just go on about, I'm like, I don't care if my house don't look the nicest. I ain't got the best car. I don't have the most followers. I don't have the most money. It's like, I'm where I am, and that's a beautiful place to be. Right now. I feel like I'm in a good
flow state.
Yeah, I feel good.
Excellent.
I feel highly capable, which is like, I think that's the biggest like aversion to progression. The biggest aversion to progression is people who don't feel capable of progressing. But once you feel capable, it's like you can do whatever.
I think that's what I was describing earlier. And I was like yesterday, I was just like I think like that's the main thing that defeats me. When I was saying, I was working on that drawing stuff like that. I think, and I was like realizing, I was like, how much stuff it could be to get my vision done. You know what I mean? And I realized like how much I already did. And I was like, even if I just did this, it would actually be enough and more than a lot of people did.
Right.
So I was like, but yeah, I think that's honestly the main thing that stops me, like not feeling capable. Mm-hmm. It's like I always prove to myself that I am capable in other ways too. Like I always say I'm like a lot of the stuff that I wait on is just like stuff that I'm like, oh, I actually already did 80-90% of the work. It's like I don't know why this lasts.
Right.
Yeah.
I realize I'm like a serial starter. Like I love having great ideas and just like starting on them.
Idea man.
Right. And then when it comes to like actually seeing them all the way through, it'd be like, damn, I got to do this for how long though? Mm-hmm. Like this workout thing that I've been on has been the greatest like test to that, because a lot of the time I'll start something and I don't mind starting a million things, but having to do it consistently at that high level, it'd be tough. It'd be doing it consistently at a high level. It's like, I don't mind doing it consistently and I could just work at it every now and again or whatever. But like training for the results that I want to see, I have to be real with myself about every time I go in there, did I do the best that I could do? And if I'm going to go in there and lollygag, it's like, at the end of this 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, you're not going to have the results that you could have because you went in there and you didn't like the way that I'm trying to train. Every set, I have to train till failure.
Wow.
And that's difficult to do. Really difficult. It's like bro, you be ready to like cop out. It's like, let's say I'm doing like squats and my max weight right now is like 90 pounds and you're supposed to be hitting 12 reps. Once you hit 12 reps at 90 pounds, you're supposed to add more weight. And then you're supposed to go until you are at a weight to where you can no longer hit 12 reps, to where like that 10th rep, that 11th rep is like you damn near fall.
Yeah. But
to like mentally take yourself to that point is like, bro, nobody wants to do that.
Hell no.
Like I hit 12. Let's go. Come on, let's get it. But it's been really great, like mental wear. Like I'm really learning to like, I'm so much more capable of what I thought I could do once I pushed past like that 12. Like I was training at like 70 pounds for like an exercise for months. And then I went in there and I trained till failure and I ended up hitting 95 pounds. And it was like, oh, for the last like 7 months, I thought I could only do up to 70 pounds.
What the fuck?
And it was like, oh yeah, you're pussy.
That's why. You're not pussy. You're not pussy.
You've been in there thinking.
You just wait. Yeah.
You've been in there thinking, oh God, like I'm not strong enough. And then you push as hard as you can and you're like, damn, I'm stronger than I thought.
You let yourself believe you was pussy. When really you was capable of all this shit.
Then when you tried as hard as you could, you was like, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah.
And then some. But all you had to do was like, you really have to lock in.
When's the last time you cried? I like to ask people that.
Like actually sat and cried.
Sat?
Sometimes I have to cry, or like I feel tears coming on and I'm in the middle of something and I just like don't allow myself to release.
Oh, you feel them well. Oh yeah, and you're like, stop it. Lock in.
Yeah, because you know, like when you be ready to cry, you could really just like go in there and like sob. Or you could be like, nah, I ain't trying to.
Cancel. No.
Later.
Suck them back in though.
It was actually the last time that I like sobbed was, this is so like, was the Black Joy Parade. Which is so crazy because it was the Black Joy Parade.
Black Sorrow Parade. Well, what did you cry about without having to get
I was just super overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't remember like exactly what happened, but something happened that was just like, I just needed to release. I think, you know what? Black Joy Parade was right after All-Star Weekend. And All-Star Weekend was so much stuff.
Heavy.
And then something happened in All-Star Weekend where I just like, I didn't get it right, or maybe I didn't like have like the proper response or the right level of patience. And like, it was like a rift that occurred. And I was like, I'm about to sob. Yeah. So I just like left and I went to the van and I remember sitting in like the back seat of the van behind the passenger seat and just like sobbing as hard as I could. And then once I felt like I had no more tears, oh my God, I felt so much better. I was able to enjoy the parade. Right. But if I wouldn't have cried right then, I would have like carried that like strife with me through the whole day.
Hell no. Like sometimes crying, actually, most of the time you're about to cry because your body's like, hey, nigga.
We gotta release.
It's time.
Like, we're full.
Like, even like, I've actually said this for a number of years, like, listening to your body is really important. Like, even like, I've noticed from like all of my favorite songs that I've ever created, I've made at like 3, 4 a.m. You know what I mean? And it was like, but then I would always try to put myself on a normal schedule or whatever. And I was like, clearly there's something about those times where I feel like my most creative. Right. I feel like, you know what I mean? But in it just works. It just flows easier for me. But still I like, you know what I mean? I push back against that. And like sometimes like that's what I define as like listening to your body or just like following the way you want to do things. Sometimes I don't do things the most like traditional way. Yeah. Like I like animate, but I don't animate. Like I'll draw like some people will draw all the frames like in the fluid motion. I'll draw like some different motions and I'll move it around on Premiere and shit like that, which might be a harder way to do it. You know what I mean?
But like, or you found the cheat code.
But honestly, but like, you know what I mean? A lot of those things are just like my way of doing it. There's probably other softwares that would shortcut all those ways of doing it. But like, you know what I mean? It's like, if there's some shit that works for you, it's like, I don't think fighting it is the
yeah. I also think that's how you you unlock genius.
Oh, find some new shit.
Bro, because it like when you just follow the status quo and you never question like, was there a better way to do this? We just all end up doing the same thing, and everybody's like, well, that's just how it's done. Because nobody chose to think for themselves.
But if you didn't know that, where would you be right now?
Right. Well, how would you do it if nobody told you how to do it? Yeah.
Damn. Real shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, I meant to ask you this the other day when we were sitting there after the show and we were talking to Clay.
That was a great talk.
That was a good ass conversation.
Good. It left me on a high into the whole next day. Ooh. Like I went to the gym and I was just like, bro, I'm ready. I made a whole tweet about it, everything. I was like, shit. I'm good.
I was floating that day for the show.
Yeah.
But and I think of this sometimes because there's 3 cats in my house. There's my cat, there's Yeti's cat, and then his other cat, but it's kind of like David's cat. And one of them, my cat, I feel like is always overstimulated. You know what I mean? She's usually seeking less stimulation. Like she's just kind of chill out. Like, I ain't get away from me. You know what I mean? She's kind of more antisocial. And then another cat is like seeking more stimulation. She's like, oh, I want to go outside. I want to go interact with everybody, stuff like that. Yeah. And there's one that's just be chilling, probably at the perfect in-between level. So do you feel like you're seeking more or less stimulation? Thinker.
Right? It really depends on the day. I would say in general, I'm really in a good place.
Yeah.
Like I'm not seeking anything right now. I'm really like in flow with life. Like I'm accepting of what is and what isn't. And I know that when it's time for more, there will be more.
Beautiful.
But I've noticed, and like how you're saying, listen to your body. I've been like really trying to be aware of how I feel in places and not judge it or anything, but just pay attention to how I feel when I'm in places. And when I feel like I'm on a high, like who am I around? What am I doing?
Wow.
And then when I am like, I want to be anywhere but here, who am I around and what am I doing?
Wow.
And I've just become very aware. And I don't think it's anxiety or antisocial or nothing. It's just like some people are meant to be in big groups of people and some people aren't.
Do you feel like you've been responding accordingly?
Absolutely. Awesome. I think when we're in large spaces, like, and it's funny because I always have Avery with me at shows and I always try to communicate with her because she's with me and I don't want to train her to mimic how I feel about things.
Right.
I want her to do whatever she wants to do, but I always try to explain to her why I'm doing what I'm doing because this is what feels best for me.
Beautiful.
So like after shows, I always go straight into the green room or into the house if it's at the pergola. Because I know that I will be overstimulated by hundreds of people coming up to me after the show trying to sell something or get in or whatever. It's too much. It's too much for me and I know that and I'm not able to be as kind. I'm not as present. But if I give myself, and I always tell Avery, I call it a people break.
Yeah.
So after the show, we take a people break. We take a 5. And it's so funny because we go into the house and she's like, whoo.
She about to be a problem at the house. Like they're like, you're grounded. I'm actually taking a people break right now, Mom.
Appreciate it. Come.
You can
let me know
have
when
your people hit my.
Let me know when my break is over. Grounding is actually perfect. I'm on a people break.
I'm on a people break. I'll be here on my phone though.
Yeah, but it's been really great. I've been able to like. I think that's why you're in a good place, and I've just been very. How I was saying, I'm in like a season of individuality. Ooh. And in not having to constantly cater to other people, I've learned so much about myself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not learning about myself in relation to someone else. I'm learning about myself as an individual.
Yeah.
And it's like,
wow.
I feel like a freaking superhero.
You are. Is that a response? Like, do you feel like you were in a in a state of whatever the opposite of individuality is?
For certain. I think I was in a state of codependence.
Ooh, you with the vocabulary.
That's that journaling.
You feel me?
100%. I be in 800 pages later.
Yeah, these are just scribbles.
No. You got to read the lines. This says.
It just says codependency and followed by.
You got to get 500 pages further. But yeah, I was just. I remember even like coming into.
1 second. But yeah, you could keep actually. You were going into what? Sorry.
It's okay. That's puberty. Yeah. I remember like feeling like I didn't know how to be a woman and trying to reflect the women that I saw around me because I didn't understand, like I didn't have my own sense of identity on like what a woman should be like, or like it wasn't like instilled in me by a woman. Mm-hmm. So I had to like go seeking like, okay, well, how do women walk? How do women behave around other men and all these other things? And I realized like that ended up being something that I was constantly seeking through like, okay, well, how do adults, how does a person, how do friends? Like I was always looking for somebody else to show me how to be that instead of like considering what does it mean to be that to me and not like seeing somebody else reflect it to me and be like, oh, I want to be like that person. Instead, me being like,
what makes you say woman instead of like individual? Oh, because that was the
point in time where I remember like vividly being like, dang, like I had like a lot of like female friends and you'll see, I hate it, but like, when you're going through puberty, boys are like the only thing you're thinking about, right? So then I see like all of my female friends, like boys like them. They dress really nice. They have a great sense of style. They're able to like draw a crowd. They have lots of friends. And so you want to be more like the people that you see that have what you want, basically. And I just remember like going through puberty and it was like, boys did not like me. I did not have a lot of friends. Like people in fact avoided me, It was like.
Made you confront your identity.
And I was like trying to be like the people that I admired.
That's beautiful. Because that was like half your life ago and now you're at this point.
Where I'm like undoing it.
Individuality.
Exactly. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's on progress.
Yeah.
Nigga, I was supposed to be somewhere else right now.
Yeah. That's why your phone was ringing?
Yeah.
How long have we been talking? Oh, perfect timing. We're at 28 minutes. Oh. Yes, sir.
This has been Checking In with Kujo and Tieta.
Oh, God.
Hopefully you enjoyed.
Next episode, I'm going to ask him way more questions.
You feel me? We're just some yappers. Is really what it is.
Until next time, y'all.
Be well.